Welcome back, Helldivers, to part 2 of my video series on Terminid Weaknesses. In this one, I'm going to talk about the 8 remaining Terminid types you might encounter on your journey through the galaxy. These are the most dangerous bugs in the game. Some of them are heavily armored and more than capable of wiping out an entire team the first time you come across them. Hopefully, with the knowledge you gain from this video, that won't hamper your ability to complete the mission. Because, as you know, the Super Earth government spares no expenses when it comes to quashing enemies of democracy. And your lives are expendable. But in all seriousness, the game offers you plenty of reinforcements, and you can trade one of your lives in exchange for a giant bug like the Charger or Titan. It'll be worth it on lower levels, since you barely come across 1 or 2 of these special Terminid types per mission. With that said, don't forget to like and subscribe with the bell to get notified when we post new content. Now let's get on with the bug smashing, shall we? Number 7. The Hive Guard. Alright, we're really moving up the weight scale with this one. Hive Guards are bigger than warriors or hunters, and they're the smallest of the armored bugs. These guys might look like gigantic shrimps, but don't get fooled. They don't taste good. Besides, it's not worth it to focus on them from the start since Hive Guards are usually running defense for faster, more aggressive bugs like the Hunters and Stalkers. The head and front legs in a Hive Guard are covered in medium armor, so you need plasma or medium penetration weapons to do effective damage. The rest of their body's coated in light armor, so you need high DPS to punch through even if you're shooting from the flanks. If you have the anti-material rifle, railgun, or autocannon, you can one-shot these bugs by aiming for the head. Hive Guards aren't that high of a priority, so save them for later. But don't take too long, otherwise they might release pheromones and call in reinforcements. Number 8. The Brood Commander. Brood Commanders are grown-up versions of the warrior, and have light armor on their body. However, the legs are completely unarmored, so unless you have weapons with armor penetration, that's where you should be aiming. Taking out 3 legs will be enough to kill the Brood Commander. Just like warriors, they will go berserk when you blow up their head and try to rush at you. Just maintain some distance while killing them and you should be fine. The thing that makes Brood Commanders annoying is their tendency to call in reinforcements if you so much as look at them sideways. Sure, all bugs can release pheromones, but Brood Commanders will be the first ones to cry bully and call their friends. Each one can call 2 warriors and a Hive Commander. So in a swarm with 3+ Brood Commanders, you could find yourself dealing with up to 9 or more additional enemies if you don't dispatch the Brood Commanders first. Number 9. The Stalker. Stalkers are grown-up versions of hunters, and come with the full assault package, including acid tongues and an invisibility cloak. These guys can turn you into sashimi with just 3 claw attacks, and will blend into the background unless you're paying attention. If a Stalker sneaks up on you on higher difficulties, it might already be too late, so keep an eye out for that shimmering silhouette in the distance, and start shooting before these creepy crawlies can stick their claws into your skull. I recommend packing a couple of stun grenades in your belt, so when a Stalker gets in your face, you can stun it and finish it off with a couple of headshots from a Slugger or Punisher. Solo Stalkers aren't that hard to deal with, but if you get swarmed by a whole bunch of them, you might want to drop an airstrike on your location. You can dive to reduce the effects of the blast if you're close to the airstrike, but sometimes you just won't make it. To deal with the Stalkers for good, you need to find their nest and drop a grenade in there to prevent them from spawning. Number 10. The SHRIEKER. SHRIEKERs are white in color, just like Hunters and Stalkers, but they have fully developed wings and can fly. The swooping attack is surprisingly effective and can quickly overwhelm you if you don't shoot them down as they're approaching. If you shoot off a wing, they'll drop down, and since they've got light armor, any high damage weaponry will take them down with a few shots. Personally, I recommend a shotgun for the spread pattern. If you have the SG-225 IE Breaker Incendiary, it's gonna turn these flying bugs into barbecue with just one hit. SHRIEKER nests look like glowing mushroom trees. Find and destroy these ASAP to keep them from spawning. Number 11. The Nursing Spewer. Okay, now it's time to bring in the heavy artillery. Meet the Nursing Spewer. It's a grown-up version of the Bile Spitter from earlier and has a massive venom sac on the back that's a brownish yellow. The body has light armor, so you'll be able to kill it with any high-damage weapon. However, don't get baited into shooting it at the belly, which looks like a big, meaty, unarmored target. Despite being unarmored, this part of its body is a total bullet sponge, and will make you waste a ton of ammo. My preferred way of dealing with a Nursing Spewer is by shooting its head with a railgun or autocannon for a one-shot kill. Alternatively, you can use an Eagle airstrike or 500-kilogram bomb if you come across a group of these things. Scorchers and Plasma Punishers are also excellent, if you want to keep your distance and dodge their poisonous spit, that is. A single grenade to the belly will kill these big bugs, so if you don't want to waste a stratagem, pull the pin and throw a spicy potato at them. It's a really cheap and effective way of dealing with one of the most annoying enemies in the game. Number 12. The Bile Spewer. The Bile Spewer is a more heavily armored version of the Nursing Spewer, and carries medium armor on its body and legs rather than light armor. Like before, don't get baited by the unarmored belly, because it's insanely tanky and will soak up 70 to 80 shots. My preferred method of dealing with these guys is with a grenade to the belly or a railgun slug to the head. If you have the Senator revolver or Slugger shotgun, aim for the head and you'll kill the Bile Spewer with 2 to 3 shots. Number 13. The Charger. Finally, we've arrived at the Elite tier. These last 2 bugs are the strongest Terminids in the entire game, and are infamous for being nearly invulnerable. First up, we've got the Charger, which is like a warrior that took too many steroids during high school and hit the gym to become an absolute beefcake. On top of being massive, Chargers also carry heavy armor on their head, legs, and body. The only bit that's exposed is the rear part of the belly, which is red as a baboon's ass. But even if you manage to flank a Charger and hit its unarmored sections, the butt will soak up a lot of bullets. So what do? If you're below level 20 and don't have a railgun, there's a bit of skill involved. In other words, you need to get good. Let the Charger run at you, and just as it's about to connect, take a dive like your Neymar and you'll come out unscathed. Then you can take shots at the butt. You can also just run to the side before the Charger connects. But don't do it too early, or else the bug will track onto you and hit you. Hitting the Charger's butt is fine. However, there is a much quicker way of dealing with it. While the Charger's at a distance, focus on one of its front legs with your shotgun. The Breaker, Slugger, Punisher, it doesn't matter. Once the armor's peeled off, you can poke at the soft flesh underneath and turn the Charger into an amputee. A very dead amputee. When you get the railgun, this becomes a lot easier. Just 2 shots to the leg and it will peel away the armor, exposing the gooey goodness underneath, which you can then exploit with literally any weapon. Of course, when dealing with multiple Chargers in Helldiver difficulty, you'll need orbital strikes and airstrikes. If you die, use a reinforcement to drop your Hell Pod directly on top of the Charger and you'll kill it. Number 14. The Bile Titan. The Charger's been dealt with. Now let's talk about the Titan in the room. Specifically, the Bile Titan. Imagine the worst, most disgusting bug possible that takes the strongest elements from every other bug and merges it together into a 30-foot-tall monstrosity. It's got heavy armor on the head, heavy armor on the legs, heavy armor on the belly, and heavy armor on the ass. So you need some serious firepower. Normally, I'd suggest an orbital strike or a 500-kilogram bomb, but these guys are relatively fast for their size, so you might have to do a self-sacrificial play to keep them in place. Alternatively, you can use the expendable anti-tank weapon to destroy the green bile sacs underneath their belly so they can't use their devastating ranged attack. Whatever you do, don't get close to one of these giants or they'll kill you with a single melee attack. And if you haven't destroyed the bile sac, they'll spit acid at you from a distance. Basically, this behemoth is dangerous at all ranges. The safe way to kill one of these things is by shooting at its face with a railgun. Mind you, it'll take a while, about 10 or so shots before the bug drops dead. If you're low on railgun ammo, charge it up to 90% in the unsafe mode for maximum damage per shot. But if you've got plenty of ammo, go with regular shots, as they actually deliver more damage in the same amount of time. And that's it. I've given you Helldivers all the information you need to deal with these nasty bugs. Do you have any tips or tricks to dealing with the particularly nasty ones like the Stalkers or Chargers? Let me know in the comments. I'm also interested in knowing what you'd like me to cover in my next video. Should I do a similar guide on automatons? Because a lot of people seem to struggle with them, especially on the higher difficulties. From personal experience, I can say that strategy for dealing with automatons is very different from what you'd use against bugs. With automatons, it's more about static defense and taking cover rather than constantly being on the move. They're also heavier on armor compared to most bugs, and can deal a crapload of range damage with their rockets that are surprisingly precise for some reason. But I'm gonna save that for the next video. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.